What seemed unthinkable just yesterday is becoming a reality across the globe today. Seismic activity continues to rise, and Russia is one of the countries where the increase in natural disasters is happening with particular intensity. In this episode, we'll show you the natural disasters of the past week that have brought us one step closer to a dangerous tipping point. We'll also talk about what each of us can do to help change the course of events, while there's still time. Russia. A series of natural disasters continues to escalate across Russia. On June 6th, a severe storm swept through the eastern part of Orenburg Oblast. In the Kuvendik district, hurricane-force winds toppled trees, blocking roads, and in some places, hail fell so heavily that roads were covered with an icy layer within minutes. Traffic was completely halted near Adaevskaya Hill. During a nighttime thunderstorm, a lightning strike ignited a residential house. Fortunately, no one was injured. In Zheleznogorsk, Kursk Oblast, a strong storm accompanied by thunder and hail up to 2 centimeters in diameter knocked down about 500 trees, disrupted power lines, and damaged numerous vehicles. On June 7th, severe weather struck the northern districts of Moscow Oblast. The areas were hit by hail, heavy rain, and gale-force winds. In Kolomna, a tree fell on a young woman who was taking shelter from the storm. She was hospitalized with injuries. On June 8th, a powerful downpour struck Moscow, plunging the city into traffic chaos. At one metro station, water poured from the ceiling of the vestibule. A powerful surge of water swept a worker servicing the storm drainage system into the collector of the Chertanovka River. Thanks to the efforts of colleagues and bystanders who kept him afloat until rescuers arrived, the man was saved. At Vnukovo Airport, gusts of wind reached 25 meters per second, about 56 miles per hour. The partial collapse of a roof section caused flooding in part of the terminal. In Moscow Oblast, a severe hailstorm struck the Naro-Fominsk district. In the Leninsky urban district, lightning struck a gazebo on the Sloboda beach where people were resting. As a result, one woman suffered burns and was taken to the hospital. On June 8th, residents of Yaroslavl Oblast witnessed an unusual phenomenon for the region, a powerful tornado that damaged a section of young forest. The very next day, a powerful thunderstorm swept through Yaroslavl Oblast. Heavy rain, hail, and gale-force winds, with gusts exceeding 20 meters per second, about 45 miles per hour, caused roofs to be torn off, trees to be uprooted, and widespread power outages. On June 8th, Kemerovo Oblast was hit by large hailstones the size of chicken eggs. In the village of Terentievskoye, hail of an unusual shape fell. The ice pellets had sharp spikes. The storm caused significant damage, damaging vehicles and destroying future crops. Powerful wind gusts knocked down trees and tore down power lines. Roads were blocked, causing traffic jams with dozens of vehicles. On the evening of June 8th, a heavy downpour struck Barnaul, the capital of Altai Krai, and continued non-stop until the early hours of the next day. The streets were flooded. Cars were literally floating along the roads. Malfunctioning traffic lights worsened the situation, causing severe traffic jams. Residential houses, administrative buildings, and shopping centers were all affected by the flooding. Water even entered the interiors of buses and other public transport vehicles. In the village of Volchika, gusty winds damaged a store's roof, injuring a young girl who was taken to the hospital. In the city of Aleisk, heavy rain caused part of a 2-story, 16-unit apartment building to collapse, and residents were temporarily evacuated. On the evening of June 9th, Syktyvkar, the capital of the Komi Republic, was hit by a powerful storm. A wall of rain flooded the streets, while the sky was continuously lit up by lightning flashes. Such intense precipitation and thunderstorm activity are rare for this northern region. On June 10th, several settlements in Kirov Oblast experienced abnormally large hail for the region. Individual hailstones reached sizes of up to 8 centimeters. Poland. Since June 4th, Poland has been hit by a series of powerful storms, wind gusts reaching up to 120 kilometers per hour, 75 miles per hour, uprooted thousands of trees across the country. A total of 156 buildings were damaged. Heavy rains turned streets into rushing streams, and in some regions, large hailstones up to 5.5 centimeters, about 2.2 inches, in diameter fell. In southern Poland, around 30,000 people were left without electricity. In certain areas of the lower Silesian voivodeship, 25 millimeters of rain fell in just 10 minutes. This was a severe blow for farmers. Torrential rain and hail flooded fields and destroyed crops ready for harvest. In the Mazovian voivodeship, in the town of Drobin, hurricane-force winds completely tore off the roofs of 10 buildings and partially damaged the roofs of 29 more. A tornado swept through the municipality of Przasnysz, uprooting numerous trees and blocking traffic on the national highway. The storm also spared no one in the Lesser Poland voivodeship. In Krakow, a sudden hailstorm caused panic as pedestrians hurriedly fled streets and parks, seeking shelter. Heavy rain and hail drastically reduced visibility, forcing cars to stop along the roads. In the town of Trzebinia, hurricane-force winds caused significant damage to buildings. The historic basilica was especially hard hit, with about 400 square meters of its roof torn off. As a result, parts of the interior were flooded. Unfortunately, there were casualties. One person died and another was injured and hospitalized. Germany.
Die Hagelkörner hatten eine Größe von 1 bis 2 Zentimetern.
On June 4th, a powerful storm with thunder and hail swept across southern and western Germany. In some areas, wind gusts exceeded 100 kilometers per hour, 62 miles per hour. The storm caused fallen trees, flooded basements, and numerous emergency incidents. In the city of Ulm, located in the state of Baden-Württemberg, eyewitnesses reported a sudden, deafening roar, followed by a violent wind. It tore roofs off several houses and caused serious damage to parked cars. In Bavaria, a severe hailstorm with hailstones up to 7 centimeters, about 2.8 inches, in diameter damaged buildings and vehicles. A tragedy occurred in the town of Wilnsdorf, North Rhine-Westphalia, where a woman was killed by a lightning strike. Despite the rapid arrival of a medical helicopter, she could not be saved. During the storm, a passenger flight from Berlin to Milan encountered severe turbulence. 8 people were injured, including 1 crew member. The airliner was forced to make an emergency landing at Memmingen Airport. Several of the injured were taken to hospital for treatment. Lithuania. On June 5th, a strong tornado swept through the Czepkeliai Nature Reserve in southern Lithuania near the border with Belarus. The whirlwind traveled several kilometers, easily uprooting large trees. Lithuanian border guards caught in its path had to quickly abandon their posts to avoid injury from falling trunks. Fortunately, there were no casualties. Belarus. On June 5th, a severe storm swept across Belarus, causing the most damage in the Minsk, Grodno, and Mogilev regions. Floodwaters inundated streets and basements, strong wind gusts tore off roofs, and fallen trees damaged vehicles. The storm caused widespread power outages across the region. The capital, Minsk, was also affected. Floodwaters entered large shopping centers, underground parking garages, and residential buildings. In the Mogilev region, lightning strikes ignited fires in 2 private homes. Seismic activity. On June 6th, a powerful earthquake with a magnitude of 6.4 struck the northern regions of Chile. The epicenter was located in the Atacama Desert, not far from the Pacific coast, at a depth of 65 kilometers. During the earthquake, people ran into the streets in panic. Although no official reports of damage were issued, videos captured parts of building facades collapsing. Landslides occurred in several areas, and cracks appeared on roads. Around 23,000 people were temporarily left without power. Turkey and Greece. On June 3rd, a 5.8 magnitude earthquake in the Mediterranean Sea was felt by residents of the Greek island of Rhodes and the southwestern coast of Turkey. Local residents and numerous tourists, awakened by the strong tremors, fled their homes and hotels in panic. Many chose to spend the night outdoors. 75 people were injured in the Turkish province of Muğla. Most of them sustained injuries while trying to escape, some by jumping out of windows. During the earthquake, a 14-year-old girl suffered a severe panic attack. Unfortunately, despite medical efforts, she could not be saved. On the morning of June 8th, a strong earthquake with a magnitude of 6.5 struck central Colombia, causing significant destruction. The tremors were felt in 20 out of the country's 32 departments. The greatest damage was caused to the small town of Paratebueno, located just 16 kilometers from the epicenter. There, 250 homes and a school were almost completely destroyed. Fortunately, no children were harmed since the earthquake occurred on a Sunday. The town experienced power and water outages. In Medina, a neighboring municipality, 100 residential buildings were damaged. Many churches in the region were damaged while morning services were underway, with thousands of worshippers inside. In Colombia's capital, Bogotá, this earthquake was one of the strongest and longest-lasting in recent years. Sirens sounded in residential areas as people fled buildings in panic. Partial collapses of building facades were reported, along with power outages, and a landslide occurred in one district. Cracks appeared on several highways, including one of the country's main thoroughfares. As a result of the earthquake, 20 people were injured. More than 250 aftershocks followed the main tremor, the strongest of which measured 4.8 in magnitude.
Vamos, 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 vamos.
In early June, seismic activity increased again in the area of Italy's supervolcano Campi Flegrei. Over the course of a week, 148 earthquakes were recorded, with the strongest reaching a magnitude of 3.2. Of these, 86 tremors occurred within 3 distinct seismic swarms. On June 8th, a strong earthquake with a magnitude of 5.3 struck the Arctic Ocean, north of the Russian Franz Josef Land archipelago. It's worth noting that earthquakes of this magnitude are extremely rare in this region. Since instrumental records began, only 2 tremors measuring 5.1 in magnitude have been recorded here. Why is it so important not only to watch this video, but also to share this information? Because natural disasters are intensifying, yet humanity remains largely passive in the face of the looming threat. There is a way out, but those who have been speaking about it for a long time remain unheard, and those who do hear often stay silent, believing their voice won't make a difference. But words are power. They are where awareness, choice, and action begin. Words convey information, and without information there is no understanding, no solutions, and no plan of action. If we stay silent, we deny others the chance to learn the truth. That means no one understands what steps need to be taken or which direction to move in. Silence is, in fact, consent to the destruction of our world. But if each of us finds the courage to speak up, to tell the truth, to share the essence, we can change everything. Just speak up. Share the information. One post, one comment, one message, or one call. That is already action. Every word matters. The key is to keep talking and never give up. Then we will surely succeed.